Well, hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to the Reforming Nerdom podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jordan Cecile, and I am joined this week by P. Nate, a.k.a. Pastor Nate, a.k.a. Nathaniel P. Wright. Nate, how are you?
I am doing fantastically, Jordan. How are you?
I am doing well, and we're also joined by the one, the only, Benjamin, a.k.a. Ben of the Cloth, a.k.a. Ben Emery. Ben, how are you?
Doing pretty good. For those of you who listen, this will mean nothing to you. For those of you who watch on YouTube, or I don't know if there's any other place to watch, but you may notice that pretty much every single week, my background is both ridiculous and different.
Yeah.
But you can literally watch today the paint dry behind me because I am finally getting to my unfinished basement. And hopefully finishing it within the next few weeks. One of the many benefits being that I will have a permanent place to finally record. So you won't have to look at a boring blank wall or my 10-year-old's closet behind me.
Now, are you going to have any cool Lego or memorabilia and or posters behind you?
Obviously.
Okay, cool. I can't wait for the day, because we've talked about this, about once we eventually get our official Reforming Nerdom set, because yes, listeners, that's on the roadmap. We want to have our own set, a studio for taking over the world, and it will be glorious. And my wife will not stop me from buying Lego or a full-size Stormtrooper mannequin that will be in the background, and I await that day with joy.
It's actually been designed. It's a full-size replica version of Pinky and the Brain's rat cage.
That's right. Perfect.
I like it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, listeners, we're happy you're here, and just a reminder that we are the Reforming Nerddom. We get together each and every week and talk about all things nerd culture from an unapologetically Christian worldview. And like Ben already mentioned, you can check us out on YouTube, podcast services, and you can also join us over at Patreon, where for a very small amount, equivalent to the cup of a coffee, you can come and join us over on Discord. Join us there. And just as a note to those who aren't, we are getting ready to start our book club in the next couple weeks. So if you want to participate in that, we're going to be doing The Princess Bride, which I have never read, and I actually don't know much about. I've seen the movie years ago, but Ben, you recommended doing The Princess Bride, so we're going to get that started soon. And yeah, we're looking forward to doing that.
Yeah. I think first week of May, we're going to meet the first time on the Discord and chat all things Princess Bride. It'll be a good one because I think a lot of people are familiar with the movie, but almost nobody, very few
Has read the
people
book.
compared to those who have watched the movie have read the book. So it'll be interesting because there are quite a few differences and some interesting things to talk about. So
yeah, that's what I was curious to hear that, or interested to hear that it's very different. I thought it was just going to be the movie version of it. I was like, I mean, it's still a funny movie, but it's actually more different than I think most people would expect. Yeah. So, anyways, that'll be good. So yeah, join us over there. We'd love to have you. But all right, fellas, I think what we're gonna do to get things started is we're gonna talk about the Minecraft movie and also do a bit of a catch up on our Rotten Tomatoes scores for the year. So for listeners, if you've been around for any length of time, what was it, a couple months ago, month and a half ago, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
We had Parker Brown of the Watchwell podcast on, and we did our predictions for upcoming movies. And I will say this Minecraft movie is not what most of us expected, and it was not what I don't think anybody was expecting what this movie was going to be doing right now in the box office. So real quick, this is an article from the Hollywood Reporter where it's talking about, this was from yesterday, I believe, a Minecraft movie strikes gold with a record-shattering 163 million US launch and 313 million globally. And this article is written by Pamela McClintock. We've read her stuff before. We absolutely have. That last name sounds familiar. But in this article, it says the box office blues have been banished in historic fashion. Warner Brothers, a Minecraft movie made with help from Legendary Pictures, struck gold with a record-shattering 163 million opening domestically and 150.7 million overseas for a global start of 313.2 million, according to final weekend numbers. Thanks to a huge Sunday, that's up more than 12 million from Sunday's domestic estimate of 157 million and 144 million overseas for a global haul of 301 million. Now, this film came in tens of millions ahead of expectations to score the top start ever for a video game adaptation, besting the 146.4 million three-day launch of the Super Mario Brothers movie over Easter weekend in 2023. And so far, the Minecraft movie boasts the top start of 2025 to date and is the biggest domestic launch since Deadpool and Wolverine in July of 2024. It has come ahead of movies like Barbie, Batman v Superman. Saturday's gross of 60 million is the biggest in the history of Warner's, not adjusted for inflation.
I hate this so much.
I think there's a positive spin here though. Like I think it's a silly thing. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't actually know how good it is, but I actually think this just shows that families want to go watch movies together still. But they
Look at
don't
you with
want
the
to go
silver
to
lining. Good
crappy
job.
remade woke Snow White. Right? So
Yeah.
like it just shows
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Yeah.
families want to go to the movies together. This is something that we want. People are willing to spend money on it. People are willing to go as families because it's a family movie, and they're willing to go do that if they just make movies that appeal to families. So stop making woke Disney remakes and make fun stuff like this.
Yeah, I appreciate your positive spin. Honestly, I do.
Well, because
I just everything I've seen or heard or like I just still think this is one of the dumbest movies ever created, and then it's just saddens me that it has done as well as it has done for various
I
reasons.
think though, Nate, you're right. It shows the power of like kids, and because this is
Yeah.
there's I would warrant that there's not many just like grown-ups going to see the Minecraft movies. I'm sure there are, of course there are, but this is probably being led by the millions of kids who
Yeah,
spend
10-year-olds dragging mom and
yeah,
dad to the
right,
theater.
and because
Yeah.
like I didn't realize this, but it was in this article. I think it was in this article that was saying that yeah, Minecraft is the biggest selling video game of all time, over 300 million copies, and some estimates say there are 125 million active daily players, which is just
That's
like
crazy.
preposterous.
Yeah, that is
How much
crazy.
money? Like this is just so when you think about that, if we're talking about average daily players, we're talking about a multiplier of that with people who aren't in there every day but would still play with some regularity. And so, I mean, like this franchise is just huge. And I think you're sorry, Ben, I hate to disappoint you, but you're probably going to see a Minecraft 2 within the next 2 years, and then probably a 3, and then maybe a 4, just like they're doing with Sonic, right? The Sonic movies, I
Yeah,
think, are like the most similar. But I actually really like the Sonic movie. Did you guys like the Sonic movies? Have you guys seen?
I've
I
never
didn't
actually
even
seen a
watch it.
Sonic
Not
I didn't
movie.
watch it.
really?
Yeah.
Honestly,
The only like
Yeah.
the most sorta recent video game franchise like I saw, um, um, oh
Super
shoot,
Mario?
Super Mario yeah, I saw
Yeah.
Super
Mhm.
Mario, which was fine. I didn't mind that one. I also saw I don't know if you could, I think it's somewhat video game yeah, like I saw the Lego movies,
Yeah.
obviously, which I also liked.
Yep.
I
Me
just
too.
I don't know. This one like creates a visceral just like honestly watching the preview for this movie just makes me angry inside. I
What?
don't know. I
Why?
just
Why is
don't
that?
like it.
What is it that bothers you about it?
I don't know. I think I mean it like Jack Black I used to actually really like now it just annoys me. I think just because of like real life stuff
His
going on
political
with Jack
stuff, yeah.
Black. And then just like Aquaman running around in a pink jacket and like it just seems super lame and gay and I don't
Well, I
know.
did see one article. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I saw they were praising it because it was countering what they would say was toxic masculinity.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was interesting, the article was saying, and I don't know how this is a toxic masculinity thing, but it was saying how it was being praised for showing that men need friends and, like, close relationships. And it was like, well, it's just sad that that has to be seen as toxic masculinity, where
Yeah.
it's, like, toxic. Like, they think that men, like, masculine men also just are, like, brooding and, chopping down wood and
They
drinking beer by
think that us
themselves.
toxic masculine folk don't have
Yeah,
friends,
that's right,
but
and
we
so they
do.
which is just preposterous, right? The funny thing about that is, and, like, I think all 3 of us would experience or be able to we could say from our own experiences, is just that since becoming a Christian, my male friendships have gotten way, like, infinitely better.
Exponentially.
Like, not
Yeah.
even a comparison to what they were as, like, sure, we sat around and drank and did stupid stuff, but it was like the depth of those relationships was nothing. So it's just funny how they tried to make it seem like we as because we are those toxic masculine men. The one like, you're white, you're conservative, you're toxic.
My wife literally made me a sandwich for lunch today.
How dare you make your wife do
You
that?
oppressor.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
know. I didn't even have to tell her to.
Yeah. No,
And if you could afford a Tesla, you'd probably drive one.
with a big old
I would
swastika on it.
I'd buy 2, but I'd only drive 1. I would just have another one just to, make people mad.
Well, there's something else that came up with the Minecraft movie, and I didn't know about this until just, like, yesterday when I was just looking into it a little bit, and I guess there's this new multiple, TikTok trends happening right now in regards to this movie. Have you guys heard anything about this?
So
No.
this is part of my, like, hatred of this movie, because I don't know a ton about, like, I've never actually read an article. I saw a clip of this happening, and I'm just like, if I don't know what the you're probably going to explain it to us, like, what the reason for this is and why it's happening, but just the fact that this movie is something that causes this to happen and attracts these kinds of people, I'm just like, it must be terrible.
Yeah, so for Nate, who I don't sounds like you don't know what's going on with this.
I have no idea.
Alright, so there's this TikTok trend. I mean, let's like TikTok trends for a second. Like I am so utterly I
Yeah, there's
disdain.
there's not a good
No, I
one.
hate I hate every like
Like, there
whenever you hear
This like the
TikTok trend, I
Tide
hate
Pod
everything about
stuff,
it.
right?
What's that, Nate?
This like the Tide Pods
Yeah.
kinda stuff,
Oh,
right?
well,
Yeah.
and so this one, like what's happening is in the movie theaters, I don't know what started it or where this whole thing came from, but a TikTok trend started where people in a particular part in the movie, so it says in the movie, there's a scene where Jack Black proclaims, "I am Steve," and then he yells, "Chicken jockey," which is, I guess, a reference in the game. There's some
It's
significance there
yeah,
in the game.
I don't know. There's like
Um,
a zombie riding a chicken or
yeah,
something. I
and
don't
so, but
know.
when that part of the movie comes up, people just trash the theater, and they record themselves just throwing their food and popcorn everywhere, throwing their drinks everywhere, just like trashing the theater. And, like, this has become, like, a thing where theaters have now actually had to like, you can't do that. The fact that we
Like,
even have to say
theaters have
that.
had to bring police
Yeah.
in to, like, watch the theater while Minecraft is being played. So
Alright, I changed my
retarded
mind about the
teenagers
movie.
don't do this.
So, I mean, I don't think that's, like, the movie's fault. I think that
No, no, but I get what you're saying now, Ben. If it's like these are the kinds of people that are bolstering the success here, like that suggests to me that it's. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is. I don't know how often this has happened, but certainly it's not going to be the families with the 9-year-olds. I don't think who are doing that. That's going to be
But
like
but
woke
like,
gay
how
liberals who are
upsetting would it
16
be,
years old and
like, how annoying would it be if you were the family that brought your 9-year-old
yeah,
and a bunch of
100%.
16-year-old teenagers started dumping their Pepsi and popcorn on top of your
but
head?
but it's interesting, though, how the movie maybe not is not the thing that's to blame for it, but when you think about this generation that would consider that to be an appropriate thing, they were raised by this game, a lot of
Yeah.
these people, right? It's
I
parents
don't
who
Yeah,
have
they
know.
grew up on
yeah,
Minecraft for
and it's
sure.
like they abdicated parental responsibility, threw them in front of a TV, or, "Oh, here's just your iPad, go play your game," and, like, because this game's probably, what, 10 or 15 years old at this point? Like, it's been out for a while.
It's gotta be. I'd say over
Yeah,
10,
so
yeah.
we got a whole generation of kids who, like, because, hey, I understand how tempting it can be, where you just want some peace and quiet or something and just like, "Kid, here's the iPad, just stop bothering me." Um, but, like, we intentionally don't allow that to happen, but, I mean, so now you have this generation of kids who are raised by it and just now they go now again, it's I doubt it's because, "Oh, now it's the Minecraft movie, I'm gonna go trash it," but it is just an interesting thing how this game
There's gotta be some
it
correlation
might
though.
be,
Like, I
right?
don't know what it is, but
Yeah,
there's a reason that it's this movie and not another one.
yeah. So, I don't know. It's just weird that it's just disappointing where y the movie industry is dying. Maybe if it was dying, like we've talked about before, Maverick kinda resuscitated it a little bit, but it's still not what it once was. And then you have to deal with this stuff, so it's like a movie that actually would draw families in. Now to hear that, it's like, there have to have been families who just said like, "Well, if that's the case, I'm not gonna go," right? I'm not gonna go and bring my
100%.
eight-year-old to a
Yeah.
theater and watch a bunch of high school kids just, like, absolutely trash the place. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, but, um, another thing so this was another thing in the news. There's a bit of a pivot, because this is another one that is just getting a lot of people all upset, and that's just related to the Trump tariffs, but then specifically how they are related to the video game industry. And I think we can maybe say the entertainment industry because, I mean, tariffs are increasing or are going to increase prices, but, I think it's something that just last week got people really upset because it is now potentially impacting the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I know you guys aren't as much into games and gaming, but did you guys know that last week? Were you aware that the Nintendo Switch 2 was announced?
I did
Because I am a
hear.
part of our Discord chat,
Yeah, you're
I
welcome.
knew that it was a
Thank
thing.
you.
That's right.
Thank you.
Me too.
Otherwise, I would not have.
Yeah. Well, and so the issue that has come up is the price of it is pretty high. And so it's launching, I believe it's June 5th, and the launch price right now, which everybody was anticipating, I think they were thinking 349 US, 399 US, but then it ended up coming in at 449 US for the Switch 2, which ends up coming in for us at about 630 bucks Canadian. And
A lot of
so
money.
it's not cheap, right? So people are now really upset because, I mean, we want cheap, prices are going up, but I'm just curious, for when you guys hear that, and Nintendo has said it is partly due to tariffs because there's just uncertainty right now about pricing. You just don't know what the tariffs are potentially gonna do for,
Like, once it gets to the final
the actual
retail.
getting it, because like, importing from Japan because 'cause they're
Yep.
manufactured elsewhere, right, to actually get them into North America is now just gonna cost more, so they're even saying that the price could go up more, and then they've delayed pre-orders because it even though they announced that price, like, there's still some speculation that it might go up, but I'm curious for you guys, when you hear that, like, let's just say for instance, like, for right now that, yes, tariffs are directly related to the increase of the price of goods, of electronics, of entertainment, video games, consoles. What do you given I think the fact that a tariff is meant to, help a nation, right, to actually bolster production and things within your own country and not allow other nations to, thrive instead of your own industries and all those things. Would you guys be willing to pay more for something knowing that it actually is, like, economically benefiting your own nation, or is that not something that you would even consider in part of your entertainment purchasing?
Yeah, I
It's
mean, it's a complicated issue, obviously, because there's so many things that it affects. So if your question was like, "Are you willing to pay more for a Nintendo Switch, if it helped the economy of your country thrive?" Well, yeah, sure. But it's not just Nintendo Switch, right? It's a million other things. So there's just I don't know. It's a very layered question, I guess.
I think and I agree with that, and I think in theory, yes, but I would also say, like, Canada is not what I want it to be right now either, right? So it's like, there's very little incentive to, like, think Canada first and all that kinda stuff right now, given who we have in power, what their agenda is, and et cetera. The fact that, they hate me, and their agenda would rather guys like me and families like mine don't exist in our country. Then that complicates things as well. So it is a very layered thing. Yes, generally speaking, I do take into account localism when I'm consuming things. I would rather buy from a local market. I'd rather buy from local farmers I'd rather go to a mom and pop shop, than to the kind of big box store kind of stuff. Now, there's a limit to that because I also go to Costco because at the end of the day, I am feeding a family of 6. So, there's give and take there, but yes, I do consider localism as part of the deciding factor, one of the many deciding factors on what I buy, when, and how much I'm willing to spend.
Would you pay more? Like, knowing if Nintendo came out and said, "Okay, we will manufacture this in America. We will magically," obviously, this takes a lot of time to go and build a manufacturing facility and get all the logistics and all those things, but, like, let's just say, like, tomorrow they could just manufacture it in North America. Would you pay 50 to 100% more for the unit that was made in America, or would you buy the one that was cheaper that was shipped in from likely China?
Yeah, well, we're not the 51st state yet, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't pay any more for anything from America. But yes, I get your point, and my answer would be yes, actually. So, like, think about this in this term, right? The Nintendo Switch, we all have an idea of whether or not we're gonna buy this, or whatever. So, like, if you could buy the exact same iPhone, right, the exact same phone, everything is exactly the same, and you buy one that helps another economy and one that helps yours, would you be willing to pay more for the iPhone that's made in your country? I would. Yeah, 100%. And this is a one-time thing. It's like, I think $500 for a Switch is a bit ridiculous. I've always been of the mind of I will get something after it comes out. I'll get last year's iPhone model or 2 years ago's iPhone model. I'll get, last year's console model. But that said, whenever and however I'm gonna pay that, would I pay, $100 extra, or say, 20% more, 15% more? Yeah, I think I would.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking 50 to 100%, I don't think I would, honestly. Like, I that seems quite, quite a jump. Like, if you're talking $600 versus $1,200, I'd either
Yeah,
pay
that
6
that's
or
a different
not get it.
story for
You know what I
sure.
mean? Like, um, so but, like, that's the point of the tariffs, right? The point of the tariffs is to make the foreign product, to
Less
make the
appealing.
price of that foreign product
Mhm.
less appealing, to get up to the level of making your domestic product, at least close enough in price that it's that it's competitive. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think it's a case by case kind of
See,
thing.
I think most people wouldn't do that, and I think part of
Oh, I
that.
I don't think most people would
Yeah,
either.
because I think globalism has had its effect, and people don't
Yeah,
care about their
absolutely.
neighbor down the street who could have a job at some manufacturing facility or at some mining facility or whatever, who that brings all these raw materials together to make it. We're so disconnected, like, our community. And I was reading a book, I think it was maybe last year, where it was talking about that, how technology has really ruined your local community, because my community now can be, uh, God of War fans, and we can just be like, that's the thing that unites us and brings us together, and has nothing to do about geography, about culture, about language, about religion. None of that actually matters anymore. So I think even something like we see that in this, where, yeah, I don't think people would care. So, like, all these things that, like, Trump is saying, like, we need America first, like, I think that's part of so much of the resistance to it
Well,
is.
I think the problem is, like Nate, you said with Canada, it's just like even with America, it's like America for what's America? Like, what are we? Like, I go back to when, we had Foskey on talking about Superman, right? And he was kinda lamenting the loss of, like, truth, justice, and the American way. Like, that used to be Superman's, slogan, which we've gotten rid of because, like, what's the American way? There is no American way. There's 7,000 different American ways. So, when you say, like, support Canada, like, buy Canadian, buy American, it's like, I don't even really know what I'm supporting at this point anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you gotta go, like Nate, you said, even more local than, like, a national kinda level, right? Like, I do know what the culture of like, if I wanna support my church family, I do know what that is, and I do know what I'm supporting when I support that. I do know, like, my local my neighborhood, like, I do know what my neighborhood's about. I do know what my household is about. So, like, you have to get even, I think, more local than the national level at this point,
Mhm.
because there is no national identity left.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I found, I came across an article on IGN, and it was really helpful for comparing, because I think, right, I mean, I think we're all feeling like we all absolutely feel the cost of life right now is just so much higher. And like part of that is because, I mean, in Canada, we have just a absolutely evil and corrupt government who just adds tax to everything. And so here, oh, let's just add 25% to everything because of a carbon tax that they just made up. But it's interesting when you actually look at this pricing, because I know a lot of people are saying, "Oof, that's really expensive." But then IGN actually put together an article where they compared console releases and adjusted pricing for inflation to show that this isn't actually that much different from other consoles. So even like we see the NES, the original NES in 1985, launched at 179 US dollars. But if we accounted for inflation, that would be $523 in the US.
Which
Hmm.
is basically
Yeah.
identical.
And so then you have the Super Nintendo, 199 US in 1991, 460 US in 2025. The Nintendo 64, 199. That does sound crazy when you even just hear those numbers. 199 for an N64, but accounting for inflation, 400 US dollars. The GameCube equivalent to 360 roughly US dollars. The Wii 400 approximately US dollars. What do you have? The Wii U about 415. The Switch, original Switch, 387. So it's definitely lower.
Yeah,
Um,
like, you're seeing a decline.
yeah.
It's slight, but that's very normal for technology, right? Like, a VCR used to cost $1,000,
Yes. Yeah.
like, so,
Well,
like,
and you
that's actually normal. So, like, it now jumping back up, like, ahead of previous models is actually a bit of a kind of a reversal in that
well,
normal
and when you
trajectory.
think of something like the original Switch, $387, equivalent dollars. I mean, the tech is significantly well, okay, significant is maybe too strong a word, but it is better. Like, it is using better technology, the magnets that it's using for the Joy-Cons, it's a bigger screen, higher refresh screen. All those things are better. So even to say like, well, right now, if you could would you pay $50 more for a Nintendo Switch than you would for the newer one? I think most people would say, "Yeah, I'll pay the 50 bucks." So you are getting better tech, but
It's not $50 though. It's $150, right?
well, it's 450 US, like, so, like,
Oh,
okay, so, like,
sorry,
70,
450.
so,
I was
like,
thinking
70, yeah,
550. I
so,
think I had NES in my head.
yeah, so, like, 70 bucks, but, um, and so I think it is just like, yeah, and even the business models of video game or the business model, there are multiple business models now of video games. It's not just hardware and physical game cartridges, which that's what they made their money on. Now it's loot boxes and battle passes and
Yeah, like
DLC.
microtransactions
Yeah, and
and
it's
yeah.
like so now and so it's, like, that's a thing that we have to account for when we're thinking about this, is it's like, yes, they've been selling consoles for less, but almost at a loss, if not at a loss, to then make more money because they've just realized over the years of the video game industry being a thing that, wow, if we make the hardware more approachable and get it in more hands, we're actually gonna sell more money. And so now it's just they're having to adjust that because, I mean, there is a time where you have to raise your prices, and I think that's a thing that a lot of people just seem to be missing, where you can't just expect a company to continue to make a thing at a price if all of their costs go up in order to make that thing, right?
Correct.
And like that's not that shouldn't be a hard thing for us to think about. If I make bread and all of a sudden my eggs and my yeast and my flour cost X amount, like 20% more, it's only so long that I can just eat that 20% myself. I have to raise my prices at some point.
Yeah, unfortunately, that most basic of economic, understanding is lost
100%.
on a huge swath of our population.
Yeah. Well, so
including everybody who votes.
well, and
Yeah.
because I listen to some video game podcasts still, not a ton, but a couple occasionally, and you just hear these people, and the first thing when they hear that pricing goes up, what would you expect the first thing out of their mouth is?
Trump's fault.
Okay, next to Trump? Well, yes, but, like, before this even, before the tariff stuff, when they would see, like, the cost of a game going up or
Yeah,
hardware.
it's like meanie
That's it,
capitalists.
capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, how capitalism, eh? All these big companies, and so that's what we're actually dealing with, is we have a whole bunch of socialists who just want everything handed to them, and they actually, like, Ben, you're right, they have no idea of what actually goes into making a thing, and so now we're dealing with people who are economically illiterate, and the idea of a company having to raise their prices is just nauseating to them because they can't understand that, well, it's either that or you don't get your thing anymore.
And and what's interesting about that is that you have generally in a lot of these companies, you have the socialistic agenda worldview that's being pushed through the movie, through the video game, through the whatever to its people. So you have people who are still making stuff, but they have this ideology, and then they're pushing that ideology through the thing that they're making, and they're making disciples of their worldview. And then those disciples don't understand basic economics and therefore are not willing to pay
I know.
$450 for the new Switch.
Yeah.
Like it's like you've shot yourself in the foot here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's just, like, the reality, like, things do just get more expensive, and I mean, I'm not gonna buy a Switch 2. I mean, maybe in the interest of this podcast, I could justify it, but I mean, like, I just don't play a Switch that much. This is a thing that I would definitely like to play with my kids because I think those things are, the games are definitely more, they lean towards families. And actually, so that actually brings up a good question that, Curtis in our Discord asked, right before we were recording. He was saying, "Is it worth it for us to N yes, even though costs are going up, let's just say Nintendo was just being arbitrary and there wasn't any actual, ma production costs that were increasing, thus we have to increase our pricing, but they just made a decision. We think the value of our game is such that we can charge X amount of dollars. Is it worth it for us to just do that knowing that it's non-woke content?" And because that's the reality is, like, we'd probably have to do that if there was a good Christian, um, development studio that came up, they would probably have to charge, like, I mean, like, if we wanted to make it such that they can, develop more games and hire more people and do that, it's like, well, yeah, they would have to charge. Would you guys be willing to do that? Spend more
Yeah.
to
We do it in every other, area of, you know, whether it's music, books, whatever, because we understand they're not producing for the masses, and therefore their prices are relatively higher because the costs don't change more or less, and yet your audience is much smaller.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's worthwhile for you to do that. And again, it's just like case by case. Is this something that you and your family are going to enjoy and not be polluted by the wokeness and craziness? And you're willing to pay 20-30% more? Like, yeah, you should do that.
Well, and this is, just so we try to do this in our church, right? So we call it a church family business guide where the plumbers and the, massage therapists and the electricians and whatever, so you can look up based on, hey, I need a drywaller or whatever. And you look it up in your church family guide and it says who's there. And one of the things early on when we were developing this, we were teaching on it and people were a little hesitant because they're like, I don't necessarily want to serve the people in the church family because they're all going to expect deals. And I had to come with some teaching that actually, no, this is a way you should be willing to pay your Christian brother who's part of your church family, who's a plumber, more than you would pay the other guy because you're actually investing in his family, you're investing in the community. We're keeping our money internal. We're building a bit of an internal economy within our church family and things like that. And that's generally gone very well for our church family. But that principle applies as well. Like if we want to take over Nerddom, there is going to be a point in time when you're going to have to cancel your Netflix or be willing to pay more for the less like the poorer quality thing because it's building, right? So, you can go and you can get a subscription to Angel Studios right now, and it's not as good as your subscription to Netflix, but if you don't invest in it, it never will be, right? And so that's that
Yeah.
sort of, you do have to
Yeah,
invest in
there's
things,
that
and
chicken and the egg
yeah,
thing.
that's
At
right.
like every project gets to the point where uh, you can only get so far until people just have to believe in the project and invest and buy in, and then we can get better. And then it's, you're getting more bang for your buck because we can do more things. But if people don't at some point just jump in because they believe in it, it's hard to get past that hurdle.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
it also just I think it's what value do you place on that thing that you're doing? Because, I mean, if it's something that's gonna uh, eat up 100, 200, I mean, there's people who have put thousands of hours into a game. Well, what's an extra $5 at the front to be able to actually do that, right? Like, we've all played games, the 3 of us, and, like, games that we've sunk tons of time into. I mean, we can't do that anymore, but we have at times, but it's like, would I have spent an extra $5 to play NHL? Because it's like, there was a time there for, like, 5 years where I probably played it every single day for, like, an hour a day. I played that game I wouldn't have hesitated to spend an extra $5. So it's just weird how
Yeah.
peop
You'd have paid $5 a day.
oh, I the amount of time I put into that, we're talking about, like, pennies per hour of entertainment at that point,
Yeah.
right? And that's, like, for me, so I guess, like, I'd be curious for you guys, when you're making a decision about, like, entertainment choices, are you thinking about that, like, the cost of that thing in, like, in a, because I try to think of it as a cost per hour of entertainment. And so, like, a book, if it's a, and I honestly hesitate with some of the Canon Press books because, like, they're really good, they're hardcover, but it's like, this is a really short book and you're asking me for $35 for it. I just don't know if I can actually justify that, but then I go and see Brandon Sanderson's books and it's $40, but it's a 1,000-page book. Well, I feel like if I'm spending my money, my hour per, or my cost per hour is far better spent there. So I don't know. Is that something that you guys do or consider at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a Excel sheet that I like punch in the formula and, pop out my dollar costs per hour or anything, but like all of those things factor in, right? It's the time of enjoyment I get out of it, it's the quality of the entertainment, it's is it something I can do with my kids so that, it's not it kind of accomplishes multiple purposes. It's like entertaining for me and entertaining for them. Like there's so many things. And so, yeah, I mean, like all of that is kind of rumbling around in my the vast cavernous space between my ears.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think all of these things, like you were asking about localism and where it's made and all that kind of stuff, that's just one of a billion factors that go into it. And I wouldn't it wouldn't shock me if Jordan did have a spreadsheet where he
Hmm.
got to like entertainment Moneyball style, where it's like
You just like punch
I just
one
need the
thing in
wins
and
above replacement for my
That's
entertainment,
right.
but
yeah.
like reduce it all to one
What's
number.
what's the walk to strikeout ratio of Brandon Sanderson
Yeah,
book?
that's two Canon Press, yeah, theology book. But it is. It's all of those things. So if Brandon Sanderson was a Christian author as opposed to a Mormon author, that would change my opinion ever so slightly. If he was, you know what I mean? If he was a part of our church versus not a part of our church, if he was Canadian versus American, if he published through Canon Press or did not, like all of those things do factor in, as well as how entertaining is the book? How good is it in terms of its art? How much time does it take? I do think of the cost to hour of enjoyment ratio. Like even the games that I generally play with Judah now, like one of the reasons he plays Fortnite is because like you can actually just get Fortnite and he can save up enough V-Bucks by going through the battle pass to get the next battle
Mhm.
pass, and he's not sinking money into it, and he's not spending, and he does it on the Switch rather than on the PlayStation, because the PlayStation Plus monthly costs are a bit higher, and so, like, all those things do factor in, um, but it's not
Like,
Yeah, I haven't reduced it
there's
down
no
to one
one
number.
of those factors
Yeah.
that's like, this is the thing that is my, determining factor for my entertainment choices. It's
But we should strive
there's
for
yeah,
consistency in that, where we make the same we put the book that we buy through the same thinking, the same filter, even if it might
yeah.
not be the Excel spreadsheet. We should do the same thing with our books as we do with our movies, as we do with our subscriptions, as we do with which 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 Patreon content do we pay for? Like all that kind of stuff. We
I
should
mean,
be
that
thinking
one's
in
obvious,
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, that's an obvious choice, but
No-brainer.
you know what I mean? Like, so I do think that Christians need to think that way in terms of the value you're also investing in. Like, this is why we talk about the worldview behind various movies and various companies and various video games, because, we're also playing the long game here, and we do want to see Canada as a Christian nation again one day, whether it's in our lifetime or the lifetime of our kids or grandkids. And so that has to be a factor as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think just as you're bringing up just, like, the bigger project that we're investing in, like, "Hey, friends, we're gonna have to spend money in order to see any of this," right? And I was actually really disappointed to see I think it was it last year, Canon Press or Canon Plus increased their pricing? Was that last year? Maybe
Yeah,
it would've been
that was
2024,
last year. Yeah.
and people were online just complaining about it. It's like, "Guys, they've raised their pricing by, like, $3, and look at the number of books and lectures, podcasts, all the stuff they're giving to you," and it's like so it went from $8 to $11, and I get stuff is tight, but it's like, I think most people can afford an extra $3 for something that they really care about, right? And that's where I think it's interesting how people are complaining. It's like, well, if you must not actually like it as much as you think you do if paying a little bit more for a thing is actually gonna cause you to have that kind of a reaction to it. It's like, well, maybe you just don't care about that. Go do something else then. Go do
yeah, and
something.
and unfortunately, most of those same people didn't cancel their Netflix account
Yeah.
when it went up
Oh, and
5
that's which has gone up
right?
crazy amounts over the last few years,
Yeah.
right? So I think, yeah, like, we need to be willing to do that. I mean, reality is things get more expensive and, but yeah, I don't know. Is there anything that you guys do for entertainment that you would if the price went up too much that you would actually just, like, pass from? Like, you would just like,
Oh,
I would
I yeah, I mean, I've done it recently. I actually gave up on like Nate, you just said, I canceled I didn't renew my PS Plus subscription because it was like $150, and I just don't care. Like, I don't use it enough, or I don't care. Like, it's just not that important to me. But were it cheaper, I definitely would. Like, I do use it enough that if it were cheaper, like I do go online and play with my brother every once in a while, or my kids go and play with their cousins every once in a while. But for $150, no, we're not doing that. So that's
Let's go
one that I
outside.
have dropped.
well, and
Yeah, no,
and there
that's
are and I think a good lesson in that, Ben, is alternatives that you can get. So it's like if PlayStation becomes, you can't use it, well, go figure out a way to get a gaming PC instead because you don't actually have to pay for online
Yeah.
gaming when you have a PC. So it's like
Which is actually the route I'm thinking about now, because my brother also has one of those, and he's pretty much the only person I ever online game with,
yeah,
so,
just buy yourself a
yeah.
Steam Deck, and then you've got yourself everything.
Actually, and thanks to you, that is what I've been looking at.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that entertainment is one of the areas. Like, at the end of the day, I'll make different decisions based on food and all that kind of stuff. Like when romaine was ridiculously priced, I ate less salad. Which I wasn't too
So,
too
you went
unhappy
from,
about.
like, 1 a year to
Yeah.
none?
Yeah, that's right. Um, but I mean, we always have to eat food. We always need, unfortunately in our country, we also need car insurance, and we need this and we need that. So it does end up being entertainment, obviously, that we make these decisions around. And for me, a lot of it does have to do with subscriptions, right? So it used to be that we had, Angel Studios and Netflix and Prime and Paramount and whatever else. And now we're essentially just down to Prime, and we still do the Angel Studio stuff, but we just make those decisions because they all go up. So now it's instead of having Crave and Netflix and Prime, you got to kind of pick which one you want, because you used to be able to have all three for 15 or $20 a month, and now they each cost about that. So you just pick
Yeah.
pick the one. So it does end up being entertainment often where we make these kinds of decisions because we always do have to eat. We still have to drive places. We still need gas in our car. So entertainment does become the thing that's it's the privilege, not the need, right? It's the want, not the need.
And what would be the last form of entertainment that gets the axe for you?
Well, I mean, I could afford a lot more entertainment if I spent less money on books.
Hmm.
So it's I like the quote where when I have money I buy books, and if there's any left over I buy food and shelter.
Hmm.
So the last thing that I would give up is buying new books. Yeah. My Audible subscription is pretty important to me, right? Because you get that free book every month, and I consume a lot of audiobooks now as well. So that would be one of the last
Have I
subscriptions
told
that
you
I like.
my audiobook or my Audible hack?
No.
There's a hack.
Oh, there's a hack. So I have 3 separate Audible accounts. Um,
So you always no, keep
because
going.
every
I'm trying
couple
to be
months they will, if you cancel it, they will
Yeah,
send you an
they're
email
like,
that
"Come
says
back and get a free credit."
we will give you 3 months for $1 a month.
So you just
So you just
always
use
do it
3
for a
different
dollar?
I
email
literally
addresses?
pay sometimes, yeah, like $1, $3 a month for 3 audiobooks. I haven't paid full price for an audiobook in like 2 years. Not even the
It's funny
$14 a
because
month.
I know you well, Jordan, and, like, there are a lot of things in your life that you could cut down on to save that extra $10 or whatever. Like, you're a foodie, right? So there are certain, like, foods and things that you will not
No,
ever, like, skimp on.
no.
But it's like but you will go through the
Will I
difficulty of,
manage
like,
4
remembering.
different
I'm sure you
email
even have, like, a
addresses?
flow chart
Oh,
where it's, like,
so I have the
that
emails. I have them
reminds
added
you.
in my calendar to go and cancel.
See, I know, exactly. This is like the amount of effort you put in to save money there when it's just like maybe don't buy like the best craisins for your
No.
raisin
No,
bread or
I
whatever.
need, high moisture mozzarella for my pizza, and there's no other way. There's no other way. Yeah.
Oh, jeepers.
So, but anyways, listeners, there's a little bit of a life hack for you. You can I don't know why they've let me do it, and I just there's reasons
Hey,
why I have separate
I'm quite
Amazon.
sure there's something in the terms of service that would
I don't know.
make
I mean, because I have my personal account, and then I have a Amazon business account with my own personal work email, but then I have an account with Ezra, and so I
ah,
actually
yeah.
have 3 legitimate Amazon accounts, and then they just keep sending me them, and it's like, right when the one's done, cancel, cool, wait it out, and then, in about a month or 2, they send me another thing. They just keep giving me $3 or dollar Amazon audiobooks, so
So then you gotta log into the right Audible account to read the right book. So is it like, oh, all my fictions in this account and all my
no,
Christian?
because when you download it to your device, you can be logged in on multiple accounts. So as long as I like log in and download it, I can then go and listen to books from any number of Audible accounts.
Oh man, you make me laugh.
Well, we're never getting sponsored by Audible, I can tell you that.
I don't think we were going to anyways.
Oh,
Actually,
we
just
were on the list.
funny because actually just an aside, I was somebody just contacted me today saying that one of the Ezra books was in the UK, listed in the fascism and Nazism section of Amazon. So I don't think they like us, anybody associated. So I don't think they're going to be
What book was it?
for politics.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So fascism and Nazism is
Sounds right.
yeah.
All
So
right, boys. While we're kind of in the gaming mode, talking about gaming systems and so forth, in light of how much fun we had with Would You Rather last week, I have another quick game for you guys.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
this is catching you guys off guard. So, we're gonna do a blind ranking of 5 different kind of gaming franchises. Okay, and you have to rank them 1 to 5, not knowing
The next one?
what's coming
Oh,
next.
okay. Yeah.
Okay? All right.
All
You
right.
ready?
ooh,
You ready, boys? Okay. We are gonna go first with the Halo franchise.
5.
like
I'd go 4 or 5.
Okay,
yeah.
you gotta pick.
So
Oh, okay, are we doing this
I don't
together?
have a
Like Nate and I are
4.5.
we're doing this together? Like we have.
No. You guys, you can each do your own list. What do you got?
So so number 1 is obviously like best, 5 worst.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, so 4. I'll go 4 with Halo.
Four for Nate, 5 for Jordan.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse coming. All right, here we go. Next we got let's go with Rock Band.
Oh wow.
The Rock Band franchise.
Dang it. I put Halo so low because I was chatting with somebody in our Discord saying how I think that game's overrated.
See, I'm gonna go with I'll go with 5 for Rock Band just because I just didn't really play it. I played a bit of Guitar Hero, but I just didn't really get into it. I'm sure if I did, I would have.
and if this helps at all, like if you want to put Guitar Hero, Rock Band, same thing.
I mean, it was Harmonix, the same company that did both.
Yeah, I'll do 5 just because I never really got into it, but I'm sure people who liked it
played
and did it with others would have loved it.
And that was my life. Like we got together and played that game so much. So
it was a blast. I didn't play it a ton, but man, when I
we did the full thing.
Was a fun time.
Oh yeah. Funny story, Jordan Ash at our church who leads worship, he learned to drum playing Rock Band.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right, Jordan, what do you got?
Okay, I'll put that at a number 3.
Number 3, right in the middle, Rock Band for Jordan. All right, next we have, let's go, since you talked about it earlier, the NHL franchise, specifically EA Sports, not like any of the 2K nonsense.
2.
Yeah,
Number
I feel like
2.
I would almost put that number 1, like the amount of NHL stuff I played. Even
when they introduced the skill stick,
no, that was revolutionary.
I think that is one of the most fantastic, innovative video game control mechanisms ever. Full stop.
Yeah, I think the only one that comes close is, I don't know if you remember Fight Night.
Oh,
the boxing when they the juke jive with the the triggers, like that was
Fight Night, and I'd say maybe Skate was maybe the best implementation of like the sticks. If you ever played Skate, which it was like you went down and up to do an ollie, down up to the right to do a kick flip, and like all the things were controlled. It was incredible.
All right, so are we locked in? Number 2 for Jordan, number 1 for P.
I'm going 2 as well, just because you might. I wonder.
This is getting weirder than more random than I was expecting. So
I'm all over the board here. Next we have Zelda.
1.
The Zelda franchise.
Yeah, 1.
I'll go 3 with that. I still got my 3 open, which means whatever you have left better be awesome because I only have.
That's the thing. Like you're not. I wouldn't personally put Zelda. Like Zelda is a bigger game. I wouldn't put it there, but I don't know if anything you're going to say is going to be able to be higher than Zelda in terms of the ranking.
Okay, so our last one is the Pac-Man franchise. So, Jordan, you got Pac-Man.
You know what? I actually don't know.
Ahead of Halo.
I don't know if I hate my ranking now that I think more about it. Yeah.
P-Nate, you, sir, are the Pac-Man champion. Number 1 game franchise of all time.
I did love Pac-Man, but I would, okay.
I feel good. All right.
So I had Pac-Man number 1, EA Sports number 2, Zelda number 3.
Halo, then Rock Band. Yep.
Yeah. Well, if Pac-Man was different, that might have been successful, but you foiled me, Ben.
You were close.
All right. Well, listeners, we also have another game in store, one that we haven't done in a little while. We're going to do 20 questions. So this is me back in the host seat. And before we do that, though, let's just quickly hear a word from this week's sponsor.
Hey, Reforming Nerdom listeners. If you're the kind of nerd who fuels deep theological debates or marathon game nights with a great cup of coffee, you need to check out Cosmos Coffee Company. Cosmos Coffee Company is a Christian coffee roaster in White House, Tennessee, that provides freshly roasted coffee to customers all across the U.S. and Canada. Whether you're diving into your next deep theology study or prepping for an all-night board game marathon, Cosmos Coffee has you covered. They have 7 great flavors, including the Pilgrim's Roast, a smooth, light roast with notes of blackberry, honeysuckle, and butterscotch. The Renewal Roast, a sweet Ethiopian blend with strawberry, agave, and peach. And for something extra nerdy, the Falcondra Roast, a medium Colombian inspired by Out of the Silent Planet with rich flavors of chocolate, brown sugar, and citrus. And because you're part of our nerdy fellowship, they are offering 30% off your first order for Reforming Nerdom listeners. Just use the code REFORMNERDDOM at checkout. So, if you want to level up your coffee game, go to cosmoscoffeecompany.com. That's Cosmos with a K, and use Reform Nerddom, no spaces, to save 30% on your first order. Cosmos Coffee Company. Coffee roasted well for His glory, for the kingdom.
Well, welcome back, everybody. And now we are going to do 20 questions. Nate, Ben, are you guys ready? I'm trying to even remember. It's been a little bit since we've done this. We did Fifth Element, I believe, was the first one we did. Was that first one? Fifth Element?
No, that was the second one. That's the one that we got, wasn't it?
You did. Okay, that's right. And what was the first one?
We did
one-
Fight Club first.
Fight Club.
Fight Club.
That was
that's
it.
what
Nate got up
which we
and had the
failed.
book literally beside him. And
Yeah.
okay. All right. So just a reminder, you guys have 20 questions to guess the film. And yes, no questions. I will give you the answer and we will see if you guys can be victorious. So
I feel like we came up with a couple good, first questions, and now I don't remember what they
Yeah.
were.
it's been a minute since we've done this. Yeah.
In a while. All right. You ready, Nate? Didn't you want to go? You want to go pre? Is it like pre 2000s? Wasn't that a good starter question?
I think it was. I think that was where we divided last time. 'Cause we said, yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Is it pre 2000?
Yes.
Okay. And then want to go genre?
Yeah. So do you want to do like action?
Sure. Is it
Yeah?
an
Okay.
action movie?
No.
Okay.
This is the problem. When you get a no, all of a sudden you're like, do you waste
Now
another
there's
one on another?
still 7 more genres to pick from.
Do you want like, is it a comedy? Do you want to?
Yeah, that's good. Because if it's not an action or it's not a comedy, I think we're probably good knowing it's not those two, and we can
Yeah.
move on.
Okay,
Yeah.
what
Is
are-
it a comedy?
Yes.
Ooh, excellent. Okay. So, do we go actors? I mean, there's a handful, and we might be a little too early for specific actors, but I mean, there's only so many
So do you
famous
want to? Do you want to?
pre-2000s
Because remember we
comedy.
had questions about like, is the setting Earth we had, or is it set like?
Mm.
Because you're thinking immediately, I'm thinking like Back to the Future or something like that.
Okay. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So now that would still be set on Earth, even though there's a time traveling element. So
Or
'cause it
just
could
say,
be- it could also be, like-
is it set in like modern times? Like, is the setting of the movie the time that the movie was
that's a good
made?
question. Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay. Clarify that question for are you saying
So like whatever date the movie was made,
Yep.
is that the setting of the film?
No.
Okay, so
Right.
it's either historical or future.
Yeah. So I would imagine again, right? We kind of have the advantage of this is reforming nerddom. So I'm thinking maybe a futuristic kind of thing, like it could be a Logan's Run. It could be it can't be a Demolition Man because that'd be an action movie, but that kind of thing, right? But
Do
as
we
a
wanna ask-
comedy.
do we want to ask the question to be sure?
Ooh, what about animated? Let's find out
Oh
if
yeah,
it's
that's a good
animated
one.
first.
Yeah, is it
Okay.
animated?
I believe it has components that are animated.
The only thing I've got in my mind is like Space Jam. Like,
Yeah,
along
Space
those
Jam,
lines,
or
you know what I
like
mean?
Who
Like a-
Framed Roger Rabbit kind of thing.
Yeah, something where it's like both and.
Yeah, Space Jam wasn't set in the future.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, like, technically, it was set a few years prior to when it was made because it was about MJ coming back.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
Space Jam is a good one. So why don't we ask
Well, let's just ask it. Are there human, or sorry, are there like animated and non-animated characters
together?
together
Yeah,
in
that's
the
a good
movie?
question.
Oh, you're gonna ask that kind of specific question, eh?
Yes,
Give
we are.
me a
Like,
second.
are there real actors and computer generated
Yes.
characters
Yes.
in the film
Yes.
together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Space Jam, Who Framed Roger Rabbit type movie.
So you're asking your seventh question, just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Or like, remember the Flintstones movie?
Oh,
I don't
that's
know if that.
true. Oh, jeepers. Oh man. Okay. Oh yeah, because that's like in the past, obviously. Yeah. All right. How can we narrow it down here? How about is the protagonist a male character?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a um is it an ensemble cast, or like mainly a single main character?
Ons okay, ensemble. Ask it as a yes or no question though. But
Is it an
Yes.
ensemble cast?
yeah. So far pre-2000s, not an action film, it is a comedy. It is not set at the time when the movie was made. It is partially animated. It has real people and animated people together. Okay. Okay. As I'm even seeing that question, if you're meaning like at the same time in like the same frame, I don't actually know that. If
Okay.
that's the question of like they're
Fair enough.
interacting together, that I do not recall.
Yeah.
And then it is a male main character and an ensemble cast.
Wow. So there's animated and non-animated
That
characters that
almost sounds
may
like it
or
could have
may
been
not
like the
be
Lego movie, right? Because it's like there's live action and then it like
right.
gets into the Lego world. Obviously, that was made after 2000, but that's the kind of movie I'm thinking about now.
Yeah, yeah. Um, whoops. Hmm. Man, I'm stumped here.
What was that
Um,
movie with Brad Pitt
with
where he
Brad Pitt.
oh no, comedy. Wasn't there a movie with Brad Pitt where he's like a detective and he's investigating cartoon characters?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Like,
What
not
about Who
one
Framed
sweet
Oh no, I
clue.
guess Who Framed Roger Rabbit would have had Roger Rabbit on the same screen, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure it would have. I mean, maybe he's just throwing us, but
I don't know, man.
I feel like Jordan's being honest.
As honest as I can be.
Man, like,
Yeah, this is hmm.
I'm like,
I don't know how good this game is for live for like
yeah, this
episodes
is
because people are
terrible.
just
This is
like listening to us
like,
think, but
all I can think
um
is like Mary Poppins or Bedknobs and
oh, that's a good one.
Broomsticks or like something like
Yeah.
that.
What about Oh no, but he said the protagonist is a male.
Oh yeah, that's
Um
right.
yeah,
Crap,
yeah. That is a good one though. What are some movies like that?
man,
I don't know.
I'm stuck.
Do
I
you
might need a hint or
do you
something.
guys want some types of questions that you have asked in the past, whether it's based on other material?
Yeah, let's do
Hmm.
that. Is it based on a book?
No.
Well, that was helpful.
Is
Thanks
it
for that
based
tip.
on a pre-existing franchise?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Pre-existing,
Or
no.
like, are there other um films in this franchise?
Yes.
Okay, so it's either like prequel
That
or
almost makes me
sequel.
think of like a Jurassic Park style, but that'd be action, not comedy. What's like Jurassic Park?
Oh man,
Because he didn't necessarily say cartoons, right? He just said animation.
that's true.
No, they had automation, not animation, but
And
you
you
know what I
guys have
mean.
not established yet the time frame of where this movie takes
Yeah.
place.
That's true. So like, let's go. Is it pre 1980?
For when it's taking like this when the
Yeah.
story is taking place.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you said it's not at the same time as when it was made. So yeah, do we? What do we want to ask? Do we want to ask the movie date or
Just
the
ask whether or
setting?
not ask whether or not it's set in the future or the past. So, like, is it set in the future?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
it's
it's set
set
in the
in the
past.
past.
What
How
about like the
far?
time machine or something like that?
Oh
I guess
yeah,
that would
time machine or yeah, maybe it's even no, but it's a comedy. Comedy is what's really killing me here. Um, my goodness. Um, all right, I got to figure out how old um the actual
Yeah,
movie
good
is.
point. Yeah.
So
All right.
is the release date before 1980?
Yes.
Okay. Um, how many questions are we at now?
You've asked 13 questions.
Should we ask like whether it's like the production company, like is it a Disney?
Right. That's a good
You'll ask,
one. Yeah. Is it a Disney?
Not Disney. I am pretty sure it is not Disney. Let me just confirm, but I'm pretty certain it is not.
I mean, like how many studios were doing animation before 1980?
Yeah, I gotta think we're on the Mary Poppins.
Or like Pete's Dragon, but I think Pete's
Oh,
Dragon was
you
Disney.
did. Yes. And the yeah. Let's. I'm just gonna
But
say, is it Pete's Dragon?
but
Oh,
one of the things that somebody in our Discord said is if you throw out a guess, that's it.
Ooh,
whoa, what?
ouch.
Who
That's
said that?
rough.
That you can thank Nate for that. Other Nate. He was
Come
saying
on.
he said that if you throw out a guess,
Okay.
that's the
Okay.
guess.
Oh, that's rough.
Okay. How about this? Is there music in it?
Oh, good one.
Like, is there singing in it? Like,
Yeah.
is it a musical?
Um, 1 second, let me confirm. Okay, you asked 2 questions.
Okay.
Is there
Yeah.
do the characters sing?
Good call.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I think you would know that if it was Pete's Dragon.
Hmm.
But also I think Pete's Dragon is Disney. So I don't think that's it.
Ay, ay, ay.
You guys have also not really established the setting.
I suppose.
Does it take place on Earth? Is the main setting Earth?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
What about something like The Never-Ending Story? But again, that's not a comedy.
I don't know. It's pretty hilarious when that horse drowns in the quicksand. Betray you.
Ah. Yeah, I feel like Pete's Dragon was a really good one.
I mean,
Characters sing.
you
Are
can
there
th- you
are some of the characters animals? Like the speaking characters.
no.
Okay. Not Pete's Dragon.
The dragon doesn't speak.
So no talking animals.
Oh, I suppose that's true.
What guess are we on here?
I don't know. We got like 5 left.
You have 4 left. You've asked 16
4
questions.
left.
16
Oh
questions.
crap. Jordan, you're killing me.
So Earth is the setting.
It's an Earthbound pre-1980s. That could be like anything though. That could be like The Land Before Time.
Yeah, except there weren't real people in Land Before Time. But
I just mean like the setting could be that far back. All we know is that it's
I see what you're saying.
pre-1980s.
Yeah. I wonder if it takes place. Like,
So
does it take place?
yeah, because like the questions that you guys have asked, it was pre-2000s, but then you also asked, was it released before 1980? I don't know if you guys have really settled on when the story is actually
We just
taking
know it's
place.
not future.
Yes.
It's not future and it's not present. So it's in
Yes.
the past. It's prior to the release date of the film. And all we know is that the release date of the film is pre-1980.
And it's a comedy with an ensemble cast, not based on a book, was not an existing franchise. There are more films in this franchise.
So it was the first one of many.
Oh, I don't remember the release order, but it was not the first. It was not the last in this
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay.
franchise.
Wow.
What about like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
But what's
Are you thinking-
animated?
are you thinking
Robin Hood,
Men in
Men in
Tights?
Tights. Men in Tights. I guess that wasn't pre 1980 though. What about Monty Python? Search for the Holy Grail.
Okay. So, how can we narrow that down? Do the characters look for the Holy Grail by chance?
Is that the question? I hear a question.
Because then we haven't guessed the movie.
That's true. Is that the question?
Yes, I'm calling it. Yes. Is that the question?
They do.
Yes. Monty Python and Search for the Holy Grail.
That's it.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, crap.
That's it. It was Monty Python. Search for the Holy Grail.
Good call, Nate.
Well,
Well done.
it's like the ensemble cast comedy released in this like before 1980. It's like, guys, there have to be only so many things that this could be.
Yeah, it was the comedy threw me.
Well, the
hard.
animation, because there's like animated like transitions and sections,
Yeah,
but
you're
there
right.
are actual characters so it's like
So that got us thinking down the like, well, Space Jam.
Yeah, Mary
and then
Poppins kind of
Pete's
thing.
Dragon, Mary
Yeah,
Poppins. So
so
the fact that we brought it back to Monty Python is yes.
you got it.
Feel good about
Totally
that.
redeemed ourselves.
Okay, so listeners, if you got there a lot sooner, I want to know. I want to know if this was just unique to these guys or if I thought the ensemble cast comedy from like pre-1980 was going to be a complete tell. When you got there, I was like, oh, ensemble cast, multiple movies, pre-1980. So,
But I just my mind went a totally different direction once we heard animated.
Yeah.
It was actually there's more. It's in a series because I was like, what series were they making back then? So then it was like, oh,
Yep.
Monty Python. That was
There we go.
sort of the remembering that was part of what we asked.
well, good job, boys. You did it in
We did it. It only took like a half an hour.
17
but we did it.
questions. I mean, that's all right. That's I'm proud of you guys. You did it.
Well, if they called it 10 questions, but they didn't. They called it 20. There's only a win or a loss.
That's
and we
right.
won.
You guys got it. You got the dub. All right. Well, listeners, again, I would love to hear how you fared. If this was if you did better or worse than the guys. But all right, boys, is there anything else any parting words before we wrap up?
No, I'm just gonna ride the
Nothing.
high.
All right.
Nothing
Well,
for me.
Winner circle.
listeners, thank you. And if you have a movie suggestion, send the email to reformingnerdom@gmail.com. I am the only one, I believe, who has
Don't
access.
put it in the Discord chat.
No, I am the one who has access to that email. So send me that if you have recommendations for the next one. But just as a reminder again, we are Reforming Nerdom. You can check us out on YouTube, podcast services. And again, we would love if you would come and join us over on Discord. We're having lots of fun there. And but until you do, and until next time, stay nerdy.